Now, Phyllis, I don't hear any sound, so I want to ask you a few questions while this is playing, because this looks amazing, your garden. Is this at a single campus?
No, this is a 3 acres behind the administration building, which I look out my back window of my office and I can see the garden. This is a big garden. We have raised gardens at the campuses, but this is one that we produce, as you can see, a lot of food that we feed to the students.
It is a huge garden. I would
It
say
is.
beyond large.
It is a big garden. We started out really small. We started out with just a few tomato plants, but my thought is if we have 13 campuses, so if I couldn't feed all the students, you know, I didn't know how valuable. I know that on the campuses where we have the raised gardens, that we have the opportunity to teach from there and about how we grow it. But most kids, watermelon, they think came from the store. And so we're doing some teaching to the students, especially at our Montessori. Our chef is teaching tasting the kids to taste and see the things growing there. And then when they go into the cafeteria and they see it, to eat it, then they're more apt to eat it than they would if they didn't know where it came from. So that's been an exciting thing. We started out really small. Last year we did really well. We did 200 tomato plants, and that sounds like a whole lot, but we made our spaghetti sauce, and it didn't last with 13 campuses feeding 6,000 students. It didn't last very long. So we did 400 tomato plants this year, and we've just started our fall crop. So we are extremely excited. Right now we have 100 and probably 52 2-gallon bags of squash. And in our garden, we did purple hull peas. We did 30 rows of purple hull peas. We did cantaloupe. We did watermelon. We have blackberries and blueberries. We did squash and turnip greens. We did some corn this year. We tried the corn, didn't work out very well. We have green beans. My big thing was that the only thing that we served that was not fresh or frozen were green beans. We were still purchasing canned green beans because the frozen ones don't seem to be as good. Anyway, so my big thing was that we would grow our green beans. The first year we did the green beans, they didn't work very well. But this year we have green beans, and I'm excited about that.
That's
And
great. I was wondering if you had discovered in this process, was there something a little more difficult to grow? And what would you recommend to someone who is not it has not even started a garden yet? What would be a recommendation? What's something easy to start with and get them rolling?
Well, and I don't know about everybody's area. Our demographics, turnip greens are good, and they are easy to grow, and they grow all year. So we have lots of turnip greens in our freezer. Our kids like that. Squash is easy to grow. Onions are easy to grow. We had ordered 1,000 onion plants, and they didn't come in, so we didn't have as much onion. But we did bell peppers and we did jalapeno peppers because we use those to cook with. So everything that we're growing, we're using to feed the students. And even though we are doing curbside, we are still providing those same things to those curbside meals that are picked up. So, we're not losing because we don't have as many students that we're feeding right now, but we're still providing the same thing for our curbside that we're providing for the students. We're still providing the same thing for the students that are eating in the classroom. I mean, so our menus have not changed. we are still feeding. And I, after watching Tyson and talking about, we kind of done our own individually wrapped. So we have not made their individually wrapping difficult, because I wanted to use the same products that I had used all along, and I didn't want our students to suffer in the nutritious meals that we could provide for them.
Right. So I do have a couple of other questions. I'm not seeing questions come in, but my mind's going over here because I'm so amazed at that size of a garden. So obviously you had to hire workers to tend to the plants once it got to a certain level of in need of attendance. But what has been the budget offset by growing so much of your own food?
Um, I don't know that it's made, I don't know that it's made a huge difference either way. It's just that what I would recommend to anybody that was going to do a garden like this is that you first of all have to have the support that you need. And my superintendent is outstanding. My immediate supervisor over me is supportive. So we have a team, TDA required, we have a team. We have a school board member on the team. We have, we have a team. And then we have I have the 3 full-time men that work the garden. District purchased a lot of the tractor. They took in cleaning, clearing for us to do that. They did the fencing. The district provided a lot of that. So without the support of your upper administration, it would be hard to do a garden like what we have. And having the area to do it. Everybody is not going to have 3 acres behind their administration building to use for this garden, but it's been great, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm very proud of those that work. My cafeteria workers that wanted to apply to be also garden workers, they're called seasonal garden workers, and so they come and pick. They put it up. They put the food up. So I have some of those, probably 6 or 7 of my cafeteria workers do that part, along with the 3 men that do the picking. We had some high school students that worked this summer that got to see what we were doing, which was good publicity. The newspaper came out and interviewed our young men, and one of them was the president of the high school FFA. So we had, and what he talked about, the nutritious meals, so that helps to get other students that will be interested in eating what we're providing.
That's great. And I wondered about the kids, being involved in tending to the garden. I know of other schools that do have, smaller size gardens, and kids are involved, whether it's a culinary class or just an after school program. But what great education for kids to learn, what it takes to provide food,
Right.
themselves,
Right.
to others. I mean, that is just phenomenal. And yes, you're right. Not everyone has 3 acres behind their administration building, but
right.
It's nice to know that you had that support and the school was willing to step up. And I think others listening to this presentation certainly could take that approach with their superintendent.
These 2 windows behind me, I closed them before the meeting because of the light, but I keep one of the blinds raised all the time and the other one open because I love looking out and seeing it. And the district, the irrigation system that we have, it's just beautiful when all of those things are going, to know that we can provide things for our students that everybody can't do.
Right. And, they're taking that knowledge and experience home with them. So that's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
If anyone has a question for Phyllis, please drop it into the Q&A. I think I've used all my questions, but what a wonderful video and presentation. You know, I know a lot of schools are trying to do more gardens and create more programs like that for a healthier generation. So nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for spending time with us this morning. I'm not seeing any questions come in. Maybe everyone is still working on their coffee this morning. And thank you, Jeree, for attending to the video part of that presentation, because I had not received it, but I would love a copy. I would love to be able to post that, you know, for others to rewatch it if they didn't catch it or came into the middle of the presentation. So maybe you can send me a copy of the video or drop it into a Google Drive and we can share it with the attendees for those that missed this. But thank you for your time, Phyllis. I appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of the expo.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone stick around. I've got another Rockstar School District coming up next.